Are movies bad for kids? What do you think? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about videos, movies, and entertainment for children. In this video, we're going to be talking about the current trends that I've noticed with parents and movies or videos and digital stimulation for children, and why these trends are happening and what parents should consider when they consider movies for their children. So I'm seeing things. I work with families all over the world. They even invite me into their homes, and what I have found is that parents are getting particular when it comes to entertainment. It used to be not too long ago that parents would say to their children, let's go to the movie, let's go see this new Disney movie that's coming out, or something like that, or ooh, something came on this new app on our TV, let's watch it, or it's coming out in a few days, let's be sure to see it. But now a lot of parents are going, I don't think so. I don't think we're going to see that. And they're starting to vet things a little bit more. They're coming at looking at digital streaming and movies and that digital stimulation, that entertainment, with a lens of distrust. Now, this is especially the educated parent populace, okay? And I don't want to say some parents aren't educated, but there's some parents who don't take a whole lot of time to really research what's going on in the movies. But most of the people who talk to me, invite me into their homes, or have me mentor them in certain ways with their parenting and trying to heal their relationships and their family, which I do through teachingselfgovernment.com, which is that website, that service that I have. They usually are ones that are really looking deeply into things. And some people will say, I don't like how that video portrays women. I don't like what Disney is doing with this. I don't like what Hulu does with this. I don't like these types of cartoons or things for my children. Nope, my child does not learn as well after they watch TV. I've noticed that. Or most of the things that are coming out are filled with this type of agenda or this type of agenda. And so people feel like, I don't like the message that's out there. I want to teach my children what it means to be part of a family. I don't want them to think every dad's a doofus and every mom's a control freak, and so you might as well not have parents altogether and just go to your friends for love and support, which is what so many videos are teaching people nowadays. And parents, quite frankly, rightly so, just don't trust that type of messaging, not when they're putting their whole hearts and souls, everything into the upbringing of their children. So what's going on in Hollywood? My goodness, that could be a whole other story for another day. I know there are people that are diligently trying to make media that is more family appropriate. Occasionally we see these things that come out and like, oh, that's really family friendly, or that's values based, or oh, that one even brings God in. Holy cow, I'm blown away, But the majority of the entertainment that is coming out on the streaming services and in the movie theaters is starting to lean toward this stuff that really has this feeling of breaking down a family dynamic, creating contention in the family relationships, feeling dissatisfied with family relationships, normalizing not being able to communicate well as a family, or normalizing not having good sibling bonds or relationships, normalizing dysfunction, even pouring on heavy the fear of really extreme behaviors, even bringing in suicidal stuff as options for children. There's just a lot of bad things that are in the media because of what Hollywood's trend is, because of ideological debates that are going on around, I guess, or what they feel like will be viewed. But you know what I find very interesting? Is that actually a lot of the views are down right now. In fact, there was just a news story that I saw that said Disney is probably going to sell Hulu because they own Hulu. There's really only like 5 companies in the world, pretty much, that own almost all of the digital technology, audio and video. That's a monopoly, just, so they can work together. But they thought maybe we'll sell Hulu. Disney is starting to have interesting things going on in their company. And I think it's because people are not satisfied with Disney as family friendly anymore. They just don't see it the same way that they used to see it. In fact, their brand has been a little bit damaged. And that's where parents are coming from. They're just not trusting. Even a name that used to always be trusted, like Disney, is not trusted anymore. And there are many other names. I could make a big list that are also not trusted. But this isn't an expose all video. This is talking about, should we be putting the children in front of the videos? So let's talk about that. We're going to talk about what we should be considering when we're considering movies for kids. But before we do that, subscribe to this channel. If this is helpful to you, I promise you there is more, much, much more on this channel that you're not going to want to miss. Subscribe now. So should children be watching lots of movies? I'm going to actually say no for multiple different reasons. That doesn't mean I'm never going to watch a movie with my child, or in this case now, my grandchild, because now I'm a grandmother. But even when I was raising my children, we did not spend tons of time watching TV or movies. In fact, we never watched network television unless it was the Olympics or like some church conference that was broadcast on a station. I mean, we never even watched the news on our local stations. So we had one movie night a week. It was Friday nights as a family. We would watch 1 or 2 movies as a family on that night. It was a special thing. Every other night, we did other things as a family. We read stories, we played games, we went on walks, we played sports. We did other things instead of watching movies or television as a family. So I've always made deliberate choices there, and that's because I wanted our family bond to be more important than the bond with digital. That didn't mean I wanted to hide under a rock necessarily. I just wanted my children to really be invested in their family culture and not feel that entitlement that comes from being overly stimulated. So when a person watches too many movies or TV, they can be easily overstimulated and develop an unhealthy sense of entitlement, which can actually ruin all of their relationships and their mindset or outlook on life. I didn't want that for my children, so I gave them no answers out of all of the love in my heart, even though sometimes they didn't like those no answers. So many parents are starting to feel the same way I did back in the day. And if you're one of them, then I highly recommend deliberately planning how you will move forward with media in your family. Decide, when are we going to see movies and not? And plan on checking up on those movies. Vet them. Go to websites like Plugged In or Kids in Mind to vet every new video or movie that comes out or that you want to see that you haven't seen yet. See if they have seen it. And if not, preview it. So I used to preview movies that I couldn't find that anybody had talked about first. And even if they were a cartoon, me and my husband, we would watch the cartoon Disney movie and decide if it was okay, and then we would show it to our children if we did decide that it was okay. We didn't want ideas about women and men to be presented in negative ways. We didn't want attitude problem brought to our little children. We didn't want our girls to think that they needed to be fighting boys all the time and that they needed to see themselves as better than boys. And we didn't want our boys to think that they needed to see themselves as inferior to women. We wanted to see a full family culture in movies if we could, so that our children could recognize women and men are supposed to work together. They both fall in love, unify, and they build strong families and societies. Those movies are harder to find than you might imagine. And we had to look long and hard for what we would show our children. That didn't mean we never saw something that was popular, because sometimes we did, but then we always discussed it afterward. And we made sure that we followed a rating system in our family. So it was always going to be PG or less. Once our children hit a certain age, like when they were in high school, there might be a couple of PG-13 movies that we might show them, but not with the other younger children, especially if we felt like they had a valuable lesson that needed to be learned. But they would always be discussed And if we could get them completely clean, then that would be when we would use them and watch them. I mean, we're not going to be filling our children with, bad language and sex scenes and stuff like that, because that just touches the wrong part of them and they'll miss the whole point of the lesson that we want to teach them for the movie. So we were deliberate. And I guess if there's one thing that I can tell you when it comes to your children and movies and video and audio stimulation, know what it does to the brain, okay? It makes the brain switch its processing. It goes into this reward center and starts to focus on getting stimulation instead of the prefrontal cortex, the thinking center, if you give a person too much of that. So you want to make sure that you choose really carefully. Make a plan for your family. Give them no answers when you need to. Discuss it as a couple before you present it to your children, and then be prepared for them to maybe not like it. But if you've done your self-government homework, which is what this channel is all about, then you can teach your children how to accept a no answer prior to you imposing this new standard when it comes to digital. So, I have a website all about self-government. I also have many videos here. If you are interested in helping your children learn how to accept no answers and follow instructions, not just related to media, but related to everything, then be sure to go to my next video, which is the not so known secret for parenting success. Click on that video now. I'll see you there.